Back on Local 6 Legal Line with attorneys Mark Bryant, Teris Swanson of the Bryant Law Center in Paducah and Louisville, answering your questions regarding criminal defense and divorce at 1-888-208-6946. And we have a question from Barry, who says, my ex's attorney wants to see my medical records, and we are going through a divorce. I don't think that's fair. Is there anything I can do? What about it, Mark?
Sure. If you're if it's relevant, they're entitled to it, but in most circumstances, there's no reason for that in a divorce case. You know, we've got no fault divorce in Kentucky. There may be child custody issues, and if it's, they've got to prove that it's relevant, and that could require a hearing, but your lawyer's not just going to up and say, yeah, turn over your medical records. He's not going to agree to that at all unless it's of relevance, and in most times it never is, so I wouldn't sweat that. Just don't, just don't let them take advantage of you. Don't just supply them automatically, and don't try to represent yourself, because the old adage is, if any lawyer represents himself has a fool for a client, and that's the same way with individuals. Don't represent yourself. You need a lawyer if you're in court.
We have a question from Sherry, who says, I was walking down the street, I was stopped and patted down. Is this a violation of my rights? And I'm assuming she was stopped by a police officer, not an individual.
Individual.
Yeah, if it's a regular individual, that might be a violation of your rights. I'm not sure. But if it's a police officer, generally the answer to that is no. Again, probably need some more facts and to talk to you. But if a police officer does just a stop, they can frisk you just quickly to make sure you don't have anything that could harm them, any weapons or anything like that. Now they can't, go digging through your purse and your pockets and your jacket and all that. But they can do a pat down just to make sure that everyone is safe.
Marcia says, my husband has filed for divorce, and we're certainly sorry to hear that, but she says, I cannot afford to hire an attorney. Is it a good idea to use the same attorney?
It is never a good idea to use the same attorney unless you have both come up with some kind of agreement as to how you're going to settle the case. Never if there are children involved. And so the first thing is, the first rule of basic training in divorce is go see a lawyer that handles lots of divorce cases and get them to give you some advice. There are many really good lawyers that will talk to you the first time for free in a divorce case. So just check them out. Get on Google and see what kind of reviews they have and give them a call and go see them. Because just because you can't afford a lawyer doesn't mean that that's necessarily the case. There may be some lawyers that, if for example, your husband's got a good job or got some money and he's trying to keep it away from you and you have nothing and you don't have a job, there'll be lawyers that'll come in there and handle your case and ask the court to order attorney's fees for him. And so anyhow, what I'm trying to say is hire a lawyer. Don't go into a divorce case with your spouse's lawyer representing you too.
Got about 30 seconds left. I got one real quick last question here. Lisa wants to know, can a police officer legally make me open my phone with my fingerprint? What about it, Teris? Real quick.
Quickly, yes, they can, because it's not something that's in your mind. If you have a passcode on your phone, they can't force you to turn over your passcode. But if you have facial recognition or a fingerprint, they can. A quick tip is if you turn your phone off, when you turn it back on, it requires the passcode to enter it instead of being forced to use your face or your thumbprint. But they do have to have a warrant to search it anyway. So
that sounds like somebody's been in a lot of trouble before.
Or someone who's just knowledgeable about technology.
Okay.
Mark Bryant, Teris Swanson, our guest today on this edition of Local 6 Legal Line. And Mark, I hope you've got a money-back guarantee on that mask, because it's working real well.
No, it's not.
Nevertheless, if you want to review either one of these segments, give us a little bit. We'll throw them up under the Legal Line icon online at WPSDLocal6.com. And coming up, a wrap of midday.